Hello everybody, my name is Kate Olaf and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be discussing what the current real estate market is doing here in Southern Arizona and how it's different from other markets we've experienced in the past. At the end of the video, I'm going to go over what this means for you as an everyday consumer, whether or not you're a buyer and seller. That way, when you go to either sell or buy a home in the current real estate economy, then you know how you are positioned, because I believe that's what's most important. When you are better informed, then you can make better informed decisions. And so that's the goal for today's video. Now, where are we at in the current real estate market today? Obviously, we've come out of some crazy, historically insane real estate markets from 2020 and 2021. And so a lot of people since then have not been aware or really understanding of the current real estate market and what it means for them. So what I want to go over is the current real estate market before we look at previous real estate markets and how we differ today. And so for the current real estate market, I'm going to go over a couple of metrics. And I'll explain just one of them in detail so you can kind of get an understanding as to what we're going to be talking about. So the first thing we're going to look at is listing prices versus the sold price. So right now the average listing price, and guys, I'm located here in Tucson, Arizona, so I'm specifically looking at metrics for all of Pima County. So if you're here in Southern Arizona, this will probably apply to you if you're in Pima County. The neighboring counties and cities are kind of along this same demographic. So if you're in a similar area, chances are you're probably around the same metric. So for the average active listing price, we're at $389,000. Okay, that's the average active list price. The average sold price, this is for May of 2024, was $375,000. So that tells me right there our average price is about $375,000. And this is it is the highest that it's ever been as far back as I can see. So we're at the highest point in history for our market as far as pricing is concerned. Now, when I look at days on market, okay, this is the average amount of days it takes to get a home under contract and sell here in Southern Arizona. So the average right now for May came in at 48.6. So just under 50 days is what it's taking to sell a home, right around a month and a half's time. The absorption rate is coming in at 3.36 months. Guys, if you've seen some of my previous videos, this is the major metric that I want you guys to understand and I believe is the most important. This metric tells us the velocity of any given market. So what that means is that it would take 3.36 months for all of the current inventory to sell out if no other inventory came on the market starting today. So again, that tells us the velocity of the market. How fast is the market moving? And what it tracks is supply and demand. And so what this means for you, if you're a buyer or seller, anything between 0 and 4 months is a really good seller's market. Anything between 4 and 6 months is kind of a good buyer and seller's market. And then anything 6 months and above is a really good buyer's market, all right, because it's extremely slow. So that's what that means for you. So again, we're at a 3.36 month supply as of May of this year in Pima County, Southern Arizona. Now, that's kind of where we're at. So what I'm taking from all this data is we are still in a really good seller's market. Pricing is the highest it's ever been. Demand is still very high. And the velocity in the market as a whole is relatively still hot. Not as crazy as 2020 and 2021, definitely not, but we're still hot. And I'll show that to you based on previous markets. So I'm going to go back to 2016, May of 2016, and we're going to look over the same numbers, okay? So listing prices in Pima County in 2016 were $200,000 and the active selling price was $174,000. So in, 8 years? In 8 years, we've gone from an average selling price of $174,000 to $375,000. Okay, so $200,000 in 8 years is pretty crazy. All right, so that's the sales price. The absorption rate back in 2016 was at 5.03 month supply. Okay, back in today it's at 3.36. Okay, so back in 2016, 8 years ago, it was 5.03. So almost an increase of a month and a half in the month supply. Again, anywhere between 4 and 6 is kind of a buyer and seller's market. Looking back to 2016, that's where we were at. So as far as the velocity of the market today, we're actually way outpacing the market of 2016. The days on market back in 2016 was 75.9. So on average, it would take about 75 days to sell a home in 2016. Today, we're at 48 days. Okay, so substantially less. Alrighty, so that's 2016 market. Okay, now we're gonna go back and look at 2008, which for all of you watching probably know this was, the armpit of the economy in real estate. And so this is some of the worst numbers we'll see. So as far as listing prices go, the active list price, the median list price in 2008 of May was $225,000 in Pima County, and the average sales price was $200,000. So interestingly enough, we were actually above May of 2016 back at 2008. Okay. As far as the absorption rate or a month supply goes, in May of 2008 here in Pima County, we clocked in at 10.35 months. 10.35 months. So again, what that tells us, it would have taken 10.35 months for all of the inventory on the market at that time to completely sell out. Extremely, extremely slow market, a huge buyer market opportunity back in 2008. And for the average days on market, we see an astonishing 162.4 average days on market for any home. So it would take, what even is that? I don't know, 4 or 5 months, right? Was the average days on market for a home to sell and get under contract. Absolutely astonishing, okay? So guys, the reason I wanted to make this video is to just give you an understanding as to how we are positioned in our current real estate market. When we look at 2008 and even 2016, we are positioned substantially better than those markets at those times. Another metric I'll quickly go over is our active listings, so our number of listings on the market, which is going to greatly affect our absorption rate, which I believe is the most important rate, or the most important metric. So currently, we're at 3,900 active listings on the market. Okay, 3,900. In 2016, we were at 7,000. And in 2008, we were at about 10,000. Okay, so we have substantially less inventory right now as a whole when we look over the course of our markets. And again, that's why we have not seen pricing fall. That's why we're at some of our highest pricing ever, because there's just so much there's not enough supply, and so the demand that is there is keeping that pricing up. So I hope that makes sense. So guys, if you are a buyer, okay, understand that we are still relatively, if you're just using the absorption rate metric, we are still technically in a seller's market, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. Pricing is still increasing, regardless of interest rates. If you are a seller, understand that if you need to move, we are in a market right now where you're probably going to sell your home for top dollar. There's a lot of demand. You're not going to be on the market that long. And our overall velocity of the market suggests that you are better positioned than that of a buyer right now in according to the absorption rate. So guys, I hope that all of that information helped you. I know it helps me definitely when it comes to working with my clients and helping them understand how they're positioned in the current state of the real estate market. Of course, every market's going to be different, and the timing of those markets is different. One thing I'll say as well is that your property greatly depends and depicts how the market's going to react to your property. So if you're a seller and you have a crappy property, well, you'll probably get a crappy price compared to the rest of the stuff on the market. That's just how any market works, regardless of where the market is, okay? If you have a pretty clean, pristine property, you're priced well, you market the property well, chances are you're gonna get top dollar for your home, and it's not gonna take very long to sell, according to this data. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are looking to purchase, buy, sell, rent, manage, do anything when it comes to your real estate portfolio here in Southern Arizona, I would be honored and love to earn the opportunity to work with you guys. My info will be down in the description below. And until then, I will see you guys in the next video.